It starts with farms, and right now the way farming systems work, they're not producing what we would consider a healthy diet. You see a lot of production of staple grains, a lot of that being fed to animals, oil crop plantations, sugar plantations. So it's not really aligned with a healthy diet, not only what was outlined in the Eat Lancet, but what's outlined by the WHO. So we don't see a predominance of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds. So the whole production system needs to sort of be reoriented. And that means changing subsidy policies and changing incentives for producers. But as food moves through the food system and it moves through the value chain, food is manipulated and it's processed and packaged and transported to markets and retail. I think there's a lot that can be done in each of those steps of the supply chain to make them more climate smart, more nutrition smart. And there's a lot of evidence to support how to do that, to make them both climate and nutrition smart. We just haven't really done it. It hasn't really been scaled up. So, and I think there needs to be more attention of the various actors along the supply chain. We talked about how really people are just looking at production systems, and with climate, you'll see changes in yield, changes in the nutritional content. But what happens after foods leave the farm gate? There's going to be a lot of other implications of climate on the movement of food around the world. So renewable energies, better technologies, better cold chain storage, better processing and packaging that's biodegradable. There's a lot of innovations that people are working on. It just needs to be applied to the food system. Transformation and innovation can be really important, particularly for populations living in geographically isolated places, rural places where you still see a lot of poverty. So we need to have better technology improving supply chains so rural places can get access to animal source foods and other perishable foods like fruits and vegetables. So I think the transformation around technology and innovation can be quite beneficial if used appropriately and properly. And I think there's also the issue around affordability of a lot of these foods. So poor populations have a hard time affording a healthy diet. So what sort of government policies can be put into place, like safety nets and social protection, to ensure that people get access to those healthy diets, because they're very cost prohibitive for much of the poor. So I think there's a whole school of thought of, can we feed the world and can we feed it well? And some would argue, predominantly in agriculture, that we've done a pretty good job at feeding the world by increasing yields of staple crops mainly. The equity piece is a nuanced one. It's really the distribution of foods. Are we distributing food equitably, whether it be even staple grains to more nutritious foods like animal source foods? So in some places it's really easy to get access to food, whether they can afford it or it's available at markets. They've got lots of choices. But then you have huge swaths of the global population that are poor, that have very limited choices. The food's either not available because of broken supply chains, or they can't afford it, or it's lacking safety, lacking quality. So we have these massive inequities in the distribution of the global food basket, and then the ability for citizens to be able to afford healthy foods. So again, putting in social protection measures will be really important for the extreme poor to be able to get access to those healthy foods for a good quality life.